Bill Cosby, once hailed as America's dad, was long considered the model of the ideal father for millions of Americans. But it was all just a carefully staged performance designed to conceal a devastating truth. A DNA test ignited the fire, exposing shocking secrets, an affair in the shadows, an illegitimate child never acknowledged, a $40 million extortion scandal that shook America. There was a time when the name Bill Cosby rang out as an untouchable symbol. He was called America's dad. He was praised as a barrier breaker, a pioneer for black entertainers, a man who changed the way Hollywood treated black television. Bill Cosby's reputation seemed untouchable, unbreakable. He was a living legend, not only on screen, but off it as well. Cosby and his wife built what looked like the perfect family with 5 children. Each of their names began with the letter E, a kind of signature, a trademark of the Cosby household: Erica, Aaron, Ennis, Ensa, and Evan. But as his career soared and his family appeared, picture-perfect cracks began to form. And tragedy did not stop haunting the children whose names Ensa Cosby, a cruel fate. Ensa, born in 1973, was the 4th child. When Bill Cosby was accused by dozens of women, Ensa was one of the few children who publicly defended him, declaring, "This is a witch hunt." But fate struck again. On February 23, 2018, Ensa passed away at the age of 44 due to kidney disease while waiting for a transplant. Her death left Cosby devastated. Once again, tragedy followed tragedy, as if destiny was determined to take away the children he loved. In 1997, when the name Bill Cosby still shone brightly across America, a scandal erupted like thunder on a clear day. Autumn Jaquel Jackson, a 22-year-old woman, stepped before the media and made a claim that left Hollywood in stunned silence. "I am Bill Cosby's biological daughter." Who was Autumn Jackson? Born on September 20, 1974. Autumn Jackson was the result of an extramarital affair between Cosby and Shawn Thompson Upshaw, a woman who openly admitted she had a relationship with Cosby during the 1970s. Shawn did not hide it. She stated clearly that Bill Cosby was Autumn's father. What was shocking was that Cosby did not completely deny it. He admitted to having been involved with Shawn and even transferred more than $100,000 to provide financial support for Autumn over the years. He paid for tuition cars and even set up a trust fund for the daughter born outside his marriage. But with one condition: Autumn had to maintain at least a B average to continue receiving money. Cosby acted as though he was fulfilling a father's duty, but he withheld the most important thing of all: official recognition. Autumn grew up in a state of limbo, supported yet denied, forced to live in the shadow of rejection. The biggest question: was Autumn Jackson really Cosby's biological daughter? Was left hanging like a ghost, hovering in the courtroom, but never answered. On sentencing day, the courtroom was silent. Autumn Jackson was handed 26 months in federal prison on 3 counts: conspiracy to extort, crossing state lines to commit extortion, and threatening to harm a reputation for profit. It was a sentence for an extortionist, but not an answer for a daughter. What shocked the public even more were the legal documents released in court. They revealed that Cosby had indeed provided financial support for Autumn over the years. He had paid for her tuition, set up a trust fund, and even bought her cars. But when Autumn dropped out of school in 1995, Cosby cut her off. So had Cosby helped her out of moral duty or out of the responsibility of a father? He never gave a public acknowledgement. Everything stopped at the level of a wealthy man helping the daughter of a former lover. This half-truth turned Autumn into a symbol of tragedy, a woman who grew up on her father's money, but who never had the right to call him by the words "dad." The DNA test, a truth buried. During the extortion scandal in 1997, Bill Cosby admitted he had given a blood sample for a paternity test. It seemed like a move that could silence all rumors and finally reveal the truth. Was Autumn Jackson truly his biological daughter? But then came the twist. Autumn Jackson refused to take the test. Without her sample, there was nothing to compare. Everything slipped into darkness. The truth, just one step away from being revealed, was buried. No DNA, no scientific proof, only 2 opposing cliffs remained: the denial of a man once admired by all of America, and the accusation of a 22-year-old woman claiming to be his abandoned daughter. No one could ever say for certain whether Cosby was Autumn's father. The story dissolved into a whirlpool of speculation. To this day, that bloodline remains an open question, a secret neither Cosby nor Autumn ever fully chose or dared. The appeal, a reversal of fate. Autumn Jackson refused to accept the label of extortionist. After the 1997 trial, she and her lawyers immediately filed an appeal arguing that the original conviction had been clouded by ambiguity. And in a twist no one expected, in 1999, the federal appeals court overturned the verdict. The reason: a flaw in the jury instructions on extortion law. Specifically, jurors had not been properly told the difference between extortion and a legitimate effort to negotiate financial support from a biological father. That technicality was enough to change everything. Autumn walked free, spared from serving 26 months in federal prison. But her victory brought no redemption. The case left a scar that would never heal. In the eyes of the media, Autumn's image was set in stone. No one called her the daughter who sought justice. Everyone called her the girl who tried to extort Bill Cosby. One name, one case, one shadow she could never erase. The ellipsis, a tragedy, without end. Since his criminal conviction was overturned and he was released in 2021, Cosby has disappeared from the screen. No more applause, no more laughter echoing through millions of American homes. The man once known as America's dad has retreated into silence. News about Cosby is no longer about roles or projects, but about health. Some reports claim he is completely blind, or at least has lost most of his vision. He is described as moving slowly, relying heavily on family and aides. Yet insiders insist for 88 he is doing fairly well. There have been no public reports of him suffering from terminal illness or being confined to long hospital stays. One certainty remains: Cosby rarely appears in public. Instead of confident strides on red carpets, he only surfaces briefly at small events or through statements read by his spokesperson. Each time the image is no longer of a legendary star, but of an elderly man, frail and out of place under the glare of the media. And yet even in silence, Cosby once again stirred headlines in 2025. When Malcolm Jamal Warner, the actor who played his son on The Cosby Show, tragically drowned, Cosby spoke out. He shared that they had kept in touch and that he considered Warner not just a colleague, but a student and a family member. Those words, brief as they were, brought back bittersweet memories of the golden era of a series that once ruled American television. But those memories were quickly overshadowed by harsh reality. The U.S. media continued to report on his financial struggles, labeling it a financial shadow that hangs over Cosby's legacy, erasing the glow of his once radiant fame. To the public, Cosby is no longer America's dad, but a toppled monument staggering under debt's lawsuit. Bill Cosby leaves behind a legacy both radiant and stained. On one side, he was a pioneer. The Cosby Show 1984-1992 was not only a smash hit sitcom, but also a cultural turning point in America. It shattered stereotypes by placing a middle-class black family at the center of primetime television. Sociologists and media scholars hailed it as a leap forward in how Hollywood portrayed black characters. Cosby also blazed trails in education and academia. American popular culture was forced to confront a painful paradox: the sitcom that once taught an entire generation about fatherhood, marriage, and family values was created by a man accused of betraying those very principles. Today, Cosby's legacy is viewed as a divided sun, one half shining with the brilliance of art and social change, the other shrouded in the cold darkness of crime and betrayal of trust.